because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough? She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs
if
to be
we was
more
loving
selective.
our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Finish the Race VL, aka Victory Lap. My name is Liz, the host of this channel, and today's video is a continuation of a two-part video discussion about the gender wars in the Black community. We will be discussing why a majority of Black women are being labeled as having a masculine and dominant energy and behaviors. In part 1, we discussed the origin of the gender war in the Black community that was established in the time of slavery by Willie Lynch, called the 4-Method Foolproof Kit, to keep Black communities and families in discord by perpetually keeping Black people in fear, distrust, envy with one another, and also by separating us by our differences such as dark skin versus light skin or light skin versus dark skin. If you have not checked out part 1, please click on the above link before watching today's video, part 2. Quick disclaimer, this video is not intended to bash Black men nor point the fingers at anyone, but simply state facts of my negative experiences and also other Black women experiences we have endured by the actions and behavior from Black men.
You know, a big thing, obviously, we spoke about the gender wars, earlier. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation nowadays about, the value of what a woman brings and the value of what a man brings in a relationship. And now there's a lot more rhetoric from our women that we hear is, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, right? So,
that's pain speaking, though.
Right.
Because most Black women know they will never get a man. A Black woman can have sex whenever she wants.
Right. Because
she's beautiful. She can have a bed mate, but to have a soul mate, she may never get. I have 2 daughters, 11 and 20, right? My oldest will be 21 this week. Statistically, right? There's a strong chance my daughter could be one of those. I hope she's not. She could be one of those who never get a husband because only 1 out of 4 gets a husband. You see that? So when a Black woman says, I don't need a man, that is a reaction to the reality that I may not get a man.
In my humble opinion, most Black women do know it is a slim chance they may get married to a real Black man because there's not enough representation of real mature and responsible Black men who will love and cherish a real Black woman. Based on what I have witnessed and experienced throughout the years in my life and still counting, there are more grown men with childlike behaviors that would rather fight in a gender war and point fingers at the opposite sex than rather be leaders and holding immature men accountable to rectify the problem we are currently experiencing in the Black communities and families, to raise up a generation of responsible Black men who are willing to step up to the plate and start making changes on how to raise the future generation of Black men. If Black women choose to downgrade and settle for the scraps of men who have low standards for themselves and disdain towards Black women in this dating puddle, as Tyler Perry suggested.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you handle the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then. That is fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
We will continue to birth and raise another generation of irresponsible, immature, abusive Black men who mostly will follow in their father's footsteps, while simultaneously increasing more numbers of broken, single-family Black homes. That is why we're seeing an increasing number of Black women who are choosing to be single because they are becoming wiser and more careful when choosing a mate. They rather be alone to avoid being a victim of heartache, trauma, physical and mental abuse, verbal abuse, financial and emotional abuse, or in some sad cases, being unalive by their spouse or partner to be thrown away like yesterday's trash. Let's talk about it.
They're still doing the autopsy, but she did die apparently of some gunshot wounds. And I know there was one other question about the storage facility. The storage facility the storage unit was registered to Corey Hill. So again, he's the prime suspect.
I want to give you some more information right now. We know that, of course, she was found in that storage facility in Apopka sometime yesterday afternoon after deputies and investigators received a call sometime around 5 p.m.
This is Kevin Dixon asking his girlfriend India Mackey why she's recording him. The two had been fighting. Pay attention to Dixon's hands. He's wiping his fingerprints off of bullets.
Think I'm playing, huh? Hit you with this big 4.5 hollow tips, gonna eat your ass up.
Moments later, police say an angry Dixon fired at India, killing her while sitting in a van in his Warren driveway. Police would pull him over in East Point Tuesday night for driving erratically.
They cried, they hugged, and tried to console one another tonight at a vigil in Queens honoring the memory of a pregnant mother and her unborn baby murdered. 29-year-old Vanessa Pierre's boyfriend arraigned in court today, charged in their death. Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang.
Moni Williams shot multiple times.
And when I came out, I saw her over there lying down on her face.
The person who pulled the trigger, police say, is Delroy Muhammad. Williams says his daughter was broken up with Muhammad, and he just couldn't accept it. He was the father to 3 of her 4 children.
On arrival, the door was forcefully opened, and the gunner must go bag containing a lifeless body was recovered. Back to the station, and in the search of the fleeing suspect, who happens to be the boyfriend of the deceased, one Damian Ukoligwe.
She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back, I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection.
Picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
you're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
There's good quality men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
You gotta ask her.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
Why?
Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allowed Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we're going to be men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
Okay, now, Dr. Umar, I didn't say it. Dr. Umar said it, and I know it's going to hurt a lot of black men's feelings who are out there listening. Black men have to be held accountable for the poor selection of black men that black women have to choose from. Going back to what I've already stated about the dating puddle is due to the extreme limited amount of quality black men based on the following statistics. High numbers of men in mass incarceration, gay men, down low men, transgender men, confused men, insecure and perverted men, men who are pedophiles and sexual predators, stalkers and weirdos, men who are rapists, men who partake in incest with young family members, lying and manipulative men, Pookies and Ray Rays and the new modern Pookie and Ray Rays. Men who are mentally ill, unhealthy and obese men. Men who are physically abusive, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive. Men with mother and father issues. Men who sexually groom their victims of all ages. Men who are pimps, lazy men, mentally unstable men, adult age males who are still living with their parents or mama, playing video games all day or working minimal wage jobs or no job at all, non-working and irresponsible men, uneducated, foolish and mature men, financially deprived men, men who are not capable or able to lead or provide for a household nor for themselves, men who use women for money and sex, gangbangers, drug dealers, men who abandon their children, narcissistic men, selfish men, men with anger issues, wannabe alpha males, hateful men, men who are thieves, dishonest men, murderers, promiscuous men who lack self-control and self-discipline, polyamorous men who want to satisfy their insatiable lust for sex, men who create broken homes, men in the music industry teaching young boys and men on how to disrespect and sexualize black females, men who do not love themselves nor their community, men who hate being a black man, and lastly, a black man who do not love nor respect or want a black woman.
See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us. We have not been on our job as black men. If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father, but guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough. She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs to be
If we was
more
loving
selective.
our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's
I want to quickly share my personal list of black men I have negatively experienced throughout my life since the day I was born. And I will begin first with my father, my African father, who impregnated my mother for a U.S. citizenship and abandoned me when I was an infant. My uncles, and that's plural, who had either molested, raped my siblings and I from the ages of 3 years old and up. A brother who tried to molest or rape me. I believe it was a taught behavior when he was raped by one of our uncles. A male cousin who molested me and my sister. Pastors or men in the church who preyed on me and other underage girls for sex or touch us inappropriately. Black men in my neighborhood who preyed on me and other underage girls around the ages of 17 to 19 years old, who tried to lure us into their homes with bribes and gifts. Random strange black men who have either followed, stalked, and sexually harassed me on the streets, grocery stores, malls, just about anywhere, violating my body or saying vulgar obscenities towards me. I have also dealt with a violent aggression from a black male who punched me in the face and given me a black eye when I was 19 years old because I told him I was not interested. In college, a black college professor solicited me for sex in an elevator on campus, stating he had been watching me and wanted to take me out and telling me he had a big penis because he knows us young girls like big, you know what. Lastly, I've had several bad relationships and marriages, and that's plural, with black men who either used me for sex, manipulated me for money, physically, verbally, emotionally abused me, or just took advantage of me because of my naiveness and insecurities. Here are a few video clips of other women sharing their personal negative experiences with black men.
So your aunt had a boyfriend. And what happened in that situation?
My aunt's boyfriend would like molest me. Drug me. Take advantage of me. And she would just watch it happen.
When you say drug you, what does that mean exactly?
Drug my food, my drink.
My name is Aziza Kabibi, and I survived over 17 years of abuse at the hands of my father that resulted in 4 children by him.
My earliest childhood memory was at the age of 7 years old, lying on the bathroom floor in my parents' home while my older brother molested me. I knew.
My name is Adriana Lucas, and my story is about how I was molested by an older cousin. Growing up,
my name is Tanisha Bankston. My story is going to be about my life story of being a sexual assault survivor, domestic violence survivor, incest survivor, and child abuse, bullying, teen mom. When I was 5 years old, that's when I first was raped. Before I even understood and knew what rape was, but I knew something wasn't right, and so
Again, this video is not intended to bash black men in general, but to bring awareness by sharing what black women and young girls experience daily throughout their lives. These unsolicited, predatorial sexual encounters and physical aggression from black men have made me and other black women to develop masculine energy and behavior. Having a masculine energy or behavior are the results of our emotional and physical scabs healing from the abuse and trauma and sexual damages we have endured from black men. Each abusive encounters expose our past weaknesses that have allowed us to become stronger, wiser, and aware of the areas of our naiveness, our insecurities, our vulnerabilities, how we were robbed of our purity and innocence at a young age, and also how we may have been irresponsible on our part to allow our bodies and mind to be manipulated and taken advantage of by inviting strange men into our lives and in our bed, so that we can take back our dignity, our self-worth, and our self-respect. We have learned how to toughen up and how to become smarter and how to become wiser and stronger to detect and protect ourselves from being repeated victims by the hand of another black man or even by our own admission to the abuse. Ultimately, both men and women have fallen victim to being taken advantage of. Trust me, I know. I have brothers and male friends who have told me horror stories about devious women. I also did a video warning men how to avoid these types of strange women. I want to see us all succeed and have healthy relationships and family, but both the black man and woman must take ownership in repairing the problems we have individually. We need to stop complaining and stop watching these gender war propaganda podcasts and YouTube channels who only promotes hatred towards one another. They are a cult of hatred that spreads like cancer, who continues to unconsciously teach the Willie Lynch foolproof method of enslaved mentality to perpetually poison your mind. In order to stop the post-traumatic slave syndrome, we must unify ourselves and extend grace towards one another by giving each other time to heal, restore, and rebuild the family structure for the next generation to come. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share the video, and comment your thoughts about today's discussion. I hope there was a word I had shared to help encourage, educate, and direct you closer to God by helping you to fight your good fight of faith so that you can finish your personal race in life by keeping your faith in Jesus Christ. As always, it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish.